Welcome to Astro Luna Alchemy. My name is Holly, and here we co-create with the cosmos by looking at and utilizing the moon cycles and the astrology of the moon cycle, and bringing in the archetypes of the tarot to inform the energy, inform our ideas about things a little bit. So today, March 29th, 2025, we had a solar eclipse at 9 degrees Aries. So that means that we are in the new moon phase of Aries. Whenever we have an eclipse, there is a new perspective that emerges. And today we are at the very last eclipse on the axis of Aries and Libra. For the next 1.5 to 2 years, our eclipse cycles are going to be moving into, and they've already begun this, but they're moving into Pisces and Virgo. So there's an ending, and this last solar eclipse in Aries brings endings. So you may notice some endings happening in your life, or you may notice some endings happening with the world at large. So keep an eye open for that. And it's also a time for beginnings because it's a new moon. And I often I look at solar eclipses as a new sun as well, because it's like the sun is blocked out and then it is not. So we are in the beginning of the zodiac cycle. Aries is the first symbol, the first zodiac sign in the astrology on the wheel of the zodiac. So Aries is the child of the zodiac. So Aries is about new beginnings. Aries is about rebirth. Aries in the northern hemisphere is spring. It's drive, it's risk, it's newness, it's thrust. It takes a lot of energy for a plant to push through the dirt and to be born. It's head first energy. And right now, with the solar eclipse being the last eclipse in Aries and Libra on that axis from until 2032, we start to see Aries eclipses coming back. We have a chance to sort of look back and see what we learned about our Aries and Libra energy. Right now, the focus for this eclipse cycle was really leaning into the Aries energy, because the Aries was in the North Node and Libra was the South Node. So there were new things to be learned about ourselves. There were new things to be learned about how we experience ourselves in the world. So a few things to think about as we say hello to this lunar energy, the new moon energy of Aries, and also sort of looking back since April 2023, like kind of looking at maybe some lessons that you learned from that time. So some of the questions to ask yourself is like, how do you show up for yourself? How do you show up in relationships, right? How do you relate to the environment around you? How do you tend to the world? Aries is the unique self. I mean, Aries is the self-expressed. Aries is the unique self as it's in relation to everything. Aries is seeing what it wants to do and trying it out. So what are qualities about yourself that you can bring into situations? And, you know, kind of like what do you want to charge? What do you really want to supercharge? Aries is the child of the zodiac, so this is a great time to really use your imagination. Tomorrow, on March 30th, Neptune moves into Aries. Neptune has been in Pisces for 14 years, and when it moves into Aries, you can start to think and think about this as you're making intentions for the new moon. What ideas, what dreams, what things that you have imagined you'd like to do or try or be, that you've kind of put on the shelf, especially since you were like a child? Is there anything from your childhood that you have wanted to do that you haven't done? And let yourself dream that. That stuff's going to start coming in. Also, stuff just is going to possibly come in that is completely new. Like some of the childhood stuff is time to let go. But all of those things, all of the dreams, all of the hopes have informed what's coming. Neptune might give us things that feel a little bit like, wow, this is so cool. So I really feel like the energy right now of this new moon, of this eclipse, is taking a minute to look back a little bit, even if it's just for the last almost 2 years, and going, you know, what do I want? What would be a fun thing to try? What would be an amazing thing to try if I had no limits? Because this is the thing, when we have a solar eclipse and a new moon, right? They happen at the same time. There's this opening for huge potential, a huge potential for shifts to happen. So the thing is to take a moment and imagine whatever it is that you would like to have happen, or maybe just the seeds from the last lunar cycle. Like, what have you been working on? What are you doing? How can you infuse childlike curiosity, play, this sense of like anything can happen, and infuse that into whatever it is that you are moving toward, how you want to experience your life. It could just be allowing the qualities of Aries into your life. You may not have a big goal or dream. It's just the way of being. Where, in what areas of your life can you be more assertive? In what areas can you take risks? In what areas can you give a little more energy to, give a little more push to? Sometimes people, their Aries is also the god of war, but the axis is Libra, which is diplomacy and how you relate. So it's like, if you want to move forward with things, it's like, how are your decisions, how are your actions affecting your relationships? Or how do you relate? You know, it's like I said before, how do you relate to everything in your world? And with the moon wants to know how you're tending to it. And how do you tend not only to the world, but to yourself in the world? How do I want to say this? Can you accept that you yourself are essential for the world? That your unique self is needed? That your unique self is exactly who you are, is exactly who you need to be. All right. How can you be completely who you are, even if others think you have everything backward? And at the same time, it's like, as you are completely who you are, letting others be completely who they are. That's the challenge. How do you dance with that? Okay, so let's see what the energy is for the Aries new moon today. What the card I'm going to pull here. Ooh. This is perfect. The Fool. It's everything I'm talking about. Okay, so the Fool just is pure potential, is the beginning of an adventure, is this being, this aspect of self, right, that goes, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna make this movie, or I'm gonna go on this trip around the world, and then just does it, and then just puts one foot in front of the other, and like does it because they don't know they can't. I was talking to a friend this morning, and he was saying it's like you are this kid who wants to be in a band, but you barely know how to play an instrument, and you just start the band anyway, and you're like this, you're this punk, you're in a punk band, and the next thing you know, after like 10 years of performing and playing and whatever, you're like really established as a musician because you just did it, because no one said you couldn't. So this is like huge. And there's the other thing about the Fool is there's sort of like a cosmic protection. It's like, it's sort of like, as human beings, it's almost like I would say it's innate that we would be protective of children. So there's this like childlike energy that is protected. It's like, but rather than being like a child, we are adults, but have this child energy that the cosmos protects. The cosmos is like, yes, go explore that. And that doesn't mean that we might not come across difficulties or anything like that. We do, but then we just keep, but we figure out how to move forward. So pretty much, what's the adventure you're on? What are you wanting to experience? What are you starting to experience? It's like, where are you in relation to taking a risk, going out there and being willing to put one foot in front of the other to see it through. So I want to see this. It's like right now is a time to explore wonder. Let yourself be in that place of complete innocence, so that there is a newness to everything you do. I really feel like that Neptune moving into Aries tomorrow is going to kind of help with that, help with dreaming in the new. So perhaps tonight or over the next week, as you go to sleep, you can ask Neptune to give you dreams. Right now, Mercury and Venus have retrograded, moved backwards from Aries back into Pisces, which is sort of the dream soup. And so Mercury is dipping back in to tell us something. It's going to tell us something from the dream world that we can then take back into Aries as it switches back and goes back into Aries. It stops to go direct next week. And Venus is always asking, what do you value? How can you make something beautiful? How do you experience beauty? And it's dipping back into Pisces to sort of pull in some more of that dreamlike quality that we're then, when it goes direct, and that's pretty soon, it's going to bring that back into Aries as well, and Aries wants to take action on it. So, the universe wants you to dive in. Just begin it, one foot in front of the other, focusing on the what and not the how. The how appears as you go. What's the other thing I want to say? I have a link on my site. I'll put it in the description below. That is instructions for how to make a treasure map during the Aries new moon cycle. So you have from now until the full moon to put your intentions into a visual map, into a vision board, basically. A lot of people do vision boards in this time period, and it's a very potent time period. So that's something you can do. Or you can just write. I like to do intentions. Setting 10, I write 10 intentions down as if they've already happened. And that's the language you use as if they've already happened, and just like send that to the moon. All right. Anyway, peace. We'll see you in a week as we get to the first quarter moon, where you can start to work with the energies that have built up. We come to a cross point where there's a little bit of there's the square where we can start to feel a little friction, but that friction lets us know like what kind of actions we can take in order to keep facilitating what our intentions are, or if we want to shift direction with our intentions. We get more clarity around that time. Right now is pure trust. Right now it's putting things out into the universe and saying, here you go. Let's see what happens. Peace. One more thing. I also give personal tarot readings. They can be done via Zoom or as a video. And for 2025, I am giving a 25% discount off of every type of reading that I do. You can find my readings at holly-troy.com/tarot. Hope to see you soon.